So in 21/8, we had a stop work for about 6 months because there was some movement on the tunnels. That's because this hospital boundary is just right next to the tunnels that leads back to the Mandai depot. So the movement was detected in the reception track at that point of time. So we had to pause the work for excavation. So a lot of engineering studies goes in during the 6 to 9 months in order to, and then also mitigation measures on what we need to do. So during that period, we did a lot of ground improvement works. We improved the ground, we set up monitoring instrumentation to measure the ground movement and also the tunnel. And thereafter, we resumed work again. In 21/9, we have a setback about close to a year. So when the pandemic hit us in early 2020, it was the major setback because we just managed to gain the momentum and then we stopped again due to the pandemic. I still recall on the day before the site was supposed to shut due to circuit breaker. I had not experienced a total shutdown, and the authorities only allowed 25 workers to be stationed on site, and they are not supposed to leave the site. I think very strict according to the circuit breaker requirement. So when the announcement came, I think we only got 3 days before the circuit breaker was implemented, and it was serious, right? So there was a scramble to set up quarters for the 25 workers, and then how to get food to them, how to ensure their well-being. And because we are in the midst of excavation and the tunnel is live and we could continue to monitor the tunnel. So to me, I still vividly remember I walked the entire site before I go back on that day because the next day circuit breaker kicks in. You don't know what's in front of you. You won't know what is going to happen. I mean, they announced a 1-month circuit breaker and then it was extended. So we can only make all the preparation, and we need to also get the what we call a qualified person in Singapore, meaning he's an engineer, he's a qualified engineer, and he got to come once, I think twice a week, to do supervision to make sure that the site is safe. Only 25 workers. If something were to happen, we may not be able to react. Something need to be done urgently. Where do we get the resources? Who do we go to seek a permission to mobilize manpower? Because all those were frozen, nobody's supposed to work. The 25 workers on site was supposed to maintain the site, meaning they cannot work, they can only clear water, prevent mosquito breathing, pest control, and to make sure that security, most important, nobody wanders in and accidents happen. Circuit breaker set us back, and then by the time we restart in the mid to end of 2020, so there was a lot of rules, and then the pandemic, the COVID positive cases in the dorm was extremely high. So there was a lot of communication with the authorities, basically how to bring out the worker back. We went through a lot of trials, and we have many stop works because the cluster flare up again. When we bring them back, even though only in the about 100, 200 workers, and it started to have small clusters developing, and then they will impose stop work order, and we will have to redo our processes again. I think we have about 40, 50 dormitories housing all the workers for this project. So it was a logistic nightmare. 2020 was very challenging. And then 2021, we realized that we lost most of the workers because a lot of them went home of the pandemic. Based on our past experience when we are building Sengkang General Hospital, we have about 4,000 to 5,000 workers, almost the same scale. So we roughly know we need that amount of workers to complete the job. But by 2021-22, we know that it's not going to happen. So we were to extend the timeline, and that was a 2-year impact. Only in 2022, we managed to stabilize about 3,000 workers a day. And that was with a lot of effort. Right, and I mean, everyone is looking for workers in 2022, but we managed to secure 3,000, and I think that was a really achievement. Okay. And we managed to keep the 3,000 all the way until we opened in 2023. All the contractors, the vendors, everybody was sharing the same objective, that we got to quickly complete the project and then to open.